Welcome back to my workshop. Now this wasn't the video I was going to do today, but since I've got to get this fixed, I'll show you. What I've ordered here is, I think it's a 10 meter retracting airline hose. Now I'll show you a picture here of what happened to my last retracting hose. This is obviously for my compressor. My last one was a work zone item that I had, and I had it for years, and then one day it just finally decided to give up the ghost. So I've got on Amazon, I've ordered this new one. Let's get it out of the box, have a look at it, fit it up and see if it actually works. Right, so this is an airline hose, a retractable airline hose from a company called Giraffe. I've actually bought it with my own money. It's not sponsored or anything like that. I just need something quickly. It comes packaged, normal cardboard box, one piece of foam. Let's get it all out of the box and see what we get. Okay, so this is what we get in the box. We get the retracting hose here, which is 10 meters long. We get some instructions. We get a bracket for mounting it. And we get two different types of airline coupler. Okay, I actually use this type instead of this, which I think is the Euro type. But I use this type. We get some bolts and raw plugs. And we also get, it looks like, we get a roll of PTFE tape, which should be handy and should stop it leaking. So let's have a look over these one at a time and see what we got. Right, so looking first at the instructions. Okay, this is Giraffe tools, air hose reel 10 meters plus 1 meter. That's 10 meters of the bit you actually pull out and 1 meter which goes to your compressor. It's got an email, Facebook and a website details on the front here, just in case you want to get in touch. Quick introduction, it's in English and German and French, I believe. Wall bracket, 1 meter inlet hose, air hose reel, 10 meter outlet hose and adjustable blocker. Okay, this is a bit that actually stops the reel from destroying itself when you let go. A quick introduction here, how to use it, how to fit it. The air hose is a 1/4 inch, 6.5 mil, hose length 10 meter, maximum pressure 12 bar, which I think my compressor will be okay with. Temperature -15 to plus 45. Don't think I'll be working anything other than that. And the connection is a 1/4 inch. Okay, and then it goes off into German. So not a lot to see there. Let's move on to the other accessories you get. As I quickly mentioned, you get two types of air hose coupling here. These are both supplied. The ones I use are these ones. Okay, so obviously this will plug onto the 1 meter hose and this plugs onto the 10 meter hose. That should be great. So I don't need these. I can put them in my drawer and keep those for later. The mounting bracket. Okay, it's just a simple pressed steel. Is it steel? Yeah, it's magnetic. It's pressed steel bracket. 4 mounting holes and then a pivot. We'll see how that fixes in a minute. And obviously to fix that to the wall, you need some of these, which are bolts, where there is 10 mil head and some raw plugs. Okay, let's have a look at the main thing. Okay, so the main body of the retractable air hose. You've got a bracket here, which has got 2 mounting points here. That obviously pivots on the wall like this. You've got your 1 meter hose here, which goes on the compressor side. And then this one is the one you pull out to actually feed the airline. Okay, so I think I might even have some existing mounting points that I can put this on from where I had my old one. But this is the stop I was talking about. Obviously you shouldn't have to move that. But what it does is when you're retracting the hose, it stops it from spinning inside because there's a big spring in here. Okay, the hose itself is nylon-y, but it is quite flexible. Now the previous one I had, it had a nylon hose, but it was very brittle. And also when you retracted it, you end up getting some static build-up and you ended up giving yourself electric shock, which was quite funny. Right, let's see if I can mount this. I'm assuming if you've got this mounted on the wall, what you can do is literally just slot that into it. Okay, that's one way, so then you could easily remove it off of the wall. But I think I might have some existing points that I can actually mount this. If the holes are the same size, I'll use that. Right, stop mucking about, let's get this on the wall. Right, obviously those of you that know my workshop, you know it's not very big, I haven't got much room. Now I have to mount it here because obviously my compressor is down here, okay? It's a 100-litre Wolf compressor, so it's quite a good compressor, but it's getting a bit old. Right, this gap here, okay, between the drill and the wall here, is where my previous one was mounted, and I had it mounted like this. Okay, so I pulled it out at the bottom. Okay, I think what I'll do is I'll actually mount it on the wall using the proper bracket this time, but it does mean I've got to move the drill press out of the way and my compound miter saw out of the way. Let me move those out of the way, and then it will give us a bit of room to actually drill some holes. Right, I've got a bit of a dilemma here. Obviously, I wanted to use the wall bracket, okay, which looks very good. That was going to go on the wall here. Problem is, I've still got my pillar drill here. Can't move that anywhere else because there isn't anywhere else. Previously, I had the old one screwed up here. Okay, let me show you that closely. Okay, previously I had the old one mounted up here. There's two holes here already, and the bracket was up there. Obviously the holes are in a different place, but the problem I've got now is that to mount this, I've got to have sufficient room for this to slot in the top, okay, which means I've got to have room for it to clear. Now for it to clear, that means it's going to have to be here, okay, about that height. But the problem I've got is part of my extraction system goes here into here, so that would all be in the way. So what I'm going to have to do is remount it up here. I must have gone through this whole process before, obviously very limited on space. It shouldn't be a problem. All I've got to do is re-drill one of these holes and put an insert in, and then mount it up here to the shelf. All right, it's a bit of a shame. I'll keep hold of this because if I redesign the workshop, I can mount this somewhere else. Right, let's get my drill out. Okay, with the previous one, I had it mounted using these. So all I've got to do is drill another hole to remount this one. Probably the size drill I need is probably about 7.5 mil. That should give me enough to get this in and still leave enough for it to grip into the wood. Right, 7.5 mil drill. Right, it's just going to be held in with a small bolt here. Let's get in focus, small bolt, and with the washer. What I'll do is I'll get it mounted like this and then take them off one at a time and put slightly bigger washers on. Okay, that's the plan. Okay, so I've now got it mounted like that, so it's hanging down. Does it still work? Yes. Okay, so that shouldn't be a problem. Doesn't matter whether it's this way or that way. Right, so what I've got to do now is obviously connect this end to the compressor and fit some ends on this end so I can actually plug some tools into it. Problem is this is a little bit short for me. I need that a little bit longer. Let me come up with a solution for that. Right, come up with a quick solution here. I've got another little bit of an airline here. It comes out of the compressor. Okay, this is my compressor. Out of the compressor, it goes behind here and then comes out here. So all I've got to do now is put an end on here so I can plug it into this bit. Okay, so what I've got to do is just get this connector onto here. Let's just check it's the right thread. Yeah, it's the right thread. What I need to do though is put a little bit of tape. So this is the tape they supplied. Now make sure when you wind this on, you wind it the right way. Otherwise when you tighten it up, all that'll happen is you'll unwind it. Okay, don't need too much on there, just enough. Make sure it's nice and tidy. Okay, and then stick on my end. Is that going to be enough? I just need a spanner for this and this. Okay, hopefully that's enough on there. So this can now just plug into this hose. Okay, at the moment my compressor's not on, otherwise what would happen is I'd have air rushing out of here. Okay, now I've got to put an end on here, which is going to be this little fella. Okay, so that's both of those on. Right, okay, so what I'll do now is I'll quickly spark up my compressor down here and hopefully it won't leak. Let's try. Right, ironically I've got an air leak, but it's from this hose, which is my extension hose. So I might have to change this end, but the actual Giraffe extension is working okay. Let me change this because that's not fair otherwise. Right, so after a lot of messing around, I finally got my old Airline hose sorted out. I've changed the end. Right, so this one, plug it in. Well, that works well. Okay, let's see how it extends and retracts. Hello. Right at the other end of the workshop now. Hopefully you can still hear me. Right, let's extend. And there's still loads left. Right, so I've gone for the 10-metre hose, which is more than enough for my workshop because it's not even that long. Right, to retract it, all you do, like any garden hose, pull it until it clicks and then retract it. Right, so I'm going to put everything back together again, my pillar drill and my saw, get them all in place and make sure it works okay. You don't need to see me putting that back together. Right, so that's about it now. It's all fitted. It's hiding around the corner here. You can't actually see it from there. But if I want air, I just pull it out and I've got air. Now the hose is nice and flexible. It's 10 meters. It doesn't seem to get tangled up when you're retracting it or pulling it out. I have seen some reports or some reviews where people say it leaks everywhere, but my one's been fine. The only leak I had was in my existing Airline. As I say, you get brackets with it to mount it on the wall. I didn't use those, so you have got other options. But along with the brackets, you also get fixing screws. You get the options of the sort of standard and Euro type of air couplers. Okay, I use the other type. Don't use these ones. Get instructions, the Giraffe Tools air hose, 10 meters, and also you get some tape, which I'll put into my plumbing box. Okay, as I say, they did a 15 metre one as well, but my workshop isn't even that long, so I'm never going to use that much unless I go out onto the driveway. Anyway, that's enough of that. I think it's going to be great. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Welcome back to my workshop. Now this wasn't a... Stop. Let's see how it retracts. Okay, let's see how it